Today, we are going to tackle something that causes so much social anxiety for so many of us, forgetting names. We're going to get into the actual brain science of why it happens, and this is the important part, why it is absolutely okay. So let's just dive right in. Oh, you know that feeling. That little jolt of panic, that cold, sinking sensation in your stomach. You're looking right at someone you know you've met. Maybe you just met them 30 seconds ago, and their name is just gone. Poof, a total blank. And your brain just starts scrambling, right? Hoping someone, anyone, will say their name first. Yeah, we've all been there.
But listen, here's the most important thing I want you to hear today. This does not mean you're rude. It doesn't mean you're careless or that you don't value people. Not at all. There is something really specific going on inside your brain in these moments. It is not about your character. It's about your cognition.
So what is actually happening in there? Well, when you meet someone new, your brain pretty much enters a state of what you could call cognitive chaos.
I mean, think about it. Your working memory is doing this incredible juggling act. You're not just listening for a name, you are, at the exact same time, reading their facial expressions, picking up on their tone of voice, trying to figure out the social context, all while planning what you're gonna say next. It's a lot.
And right into the middle of this mental traffic jam, someone throws this one single, totally arbitrary sound, their name. A word like Kevin or Sarah. It doesn't actually mean anything by itself. It has no connection to anything you already know. It's just this one little piece of data that your super busy brain is somehow supposed to grab and file away perfectly. There's a classic idea in psychology that explains this perfectly. It's called the Baker/Baker paradox. So if I tell you a guy's last name is Baker, your brain just goes, okay, it's an empty label. But if I tell you his job is a baker, your brain lights up like a Christmas tree. It immediately connects to a whole web of ideas. Flour, the smell of fresh bread, warmth, waking up early. See, the job has meaning, the name by itself doesn't. Same sound, totally different result in your brain.
And that's the key right there. Names are semantically empty. They're rootless. And our brains, they're these incredibly efficient machines that are wired to hang on to information that means something, that connects to the maps we already have in our heads. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine you go to a really significant event, say a memorial service. What do you remember weeks later? You'll probably remember the scent of the flowers, the specific feeling in the room, maybe a powerful line from a speech. You remember the experience. What you almost certainly do not remember is the exact printed text on the little program they handed out. Your brain, without even asking you, decided what was important. Well, names are often that printed program. Everything else about the person is the rich, memorable experience. Okay, so this brings us to another reason, and this one's a little more personal, but it is so important to understand. For a lot of us, this isn't really a memory problem at all. It's a focus problem. Let's be honest. While the other person is telling you their name, there's often this anxious little voice in our head, right? It's running a constant commentary. You're not just listening to them, you're busy monitoring yourself. Am I making enough eye contact? Is this awkward? Am I being weird? And that inner monologue just keeps going. Was that handshake too strong? Oh God, was it too weak? Did I just interrupt them? And then the big one. Okay. What am I going to say next that makes me sound smart and normal and not like a weirdo? And while all of that is happening, whoosh, their name was spoken, it might have floated into your brain for a second, but that internal chatter just bulldozed right over it. And guess what? This is a real documented thing. It's called the next in line effect. Studies have shown that when people are in a circle waiting for their turn to speak, their memory for what the person right before them said just plummets. Why? Because they're so preoccupied with their own upcoming performance. For people with social anxiety, this isn't just a temporary thing. It can be the default mode. And this brings us to the most important reframe in this whole explainer. If this sounds like you, please hear this. You don't have a memory problem. You have a preoccupation problem. Your attention is turned inward, focusing on your performance, instead of being turned outward, focusing on connection. And those are two very, very different things. So, what if we could just flip this? What if the very thing that makes you feel bad with names is actually a sign of a different kind of superpower? Let's talk about the gift of being an associative thinker. Okay, so your brain skipped the arbitrary label, the name. Yes, but look at what it kept instead. It probably remembers that funny story they told about their dog, or the specific way their eyes lit up when they laughed, or just the feeling of the conversation. It held on to the texture of who they are, the stuff that actually builds a real connection. You see, people who often forget names tend to have this particular mental architecture. They're highly associative thinkers. Their minds are built for rich, contextual memory. This is not a flaw. It's a design that is perfectly suited for things like emotional attunement, for storytelling, for the kind of deep listening that makes other people feel truly seen and understood.
So let's reframe this whole thing. Forgetting a name doesn't mean you were absent or that you didn't care. It just means you were present for something else, something your brain decided was more important, the essence of the person, not their label. Now, all of this doesn't mean we can't get a little better at remembering names. So let's wrap up with a practical toolkit, some real steps to help you navigate these moments with a lot more confidence and a lot less shame.
So you have to manually build the mental bridge that your associative brain doesn't build on its own. It's super simple. Step 1, when you hear the name, repeat it back right away. It's so great to meet you, Sarah. Step 2, immediately connect it to something. A visual image, another Sarah you know, whatever. Step 3, try to use it one more time before the conversation ends. You are just consciously creating the association your brain loves. And what happens when you still forget? 'Cause you will, and that is okay. The secret is to handle it with grace, not panic. If you just met, a simple, "I'm so sorry, it has just escaped me. Could you tell me your name one more time?" works perfectly. If you've met them before, show them you remember them, not just the label. "I am so sorry. I remember our great chat about marketing, but your name has just slipped my mind." See? That validates the connection you made. But really, the most crucial tool in your entire kit is this. You have got to release the shame. That quiet little voice telling you that forgetting a name makes you a bad or uncaring person, it's just wrong. It's a story you've been telling yourself based on a total misunderstanding of how your brain works. Your brain just prioritizes differently, and it is time to practice some self-compassion around that. Just remember this. The name is just a random sound their parents gave them. It's an arbitrary label. In many ways, it really is the single least interesting thing about a person. What you do remember, the real stuff, the stories, the way they laugh, that's what actually matters. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. What if the most important thing to remember about someone isn't their name at all? What if it's how they made you feel? Thanks so much for being here.